Forbidden Door 2025 is this Sunday in London at the O2 Arena. I'm going to be there and I should be in the press conference as well. So I'm going to warn you now, I'm going to ask a silly question. Not in a ha-ha negative way, because I'm an idiot and it will be funny and I think those things are funny. However, before we get there, we have to predict the thing, so I am putting my nerd brain into gear. And we start with Adam Copeland and Christian Cage taking on Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian. Now, I want to focus on the good here. I mean, it's all good. It's absolutely wonderful. But Kip Sabian getting to have a match in the O2 Arena in England, obviously he's from the United Kingdom, the greatest thing ever. I mean, that guy's essentially been with AEW since day one. I think that's fair. Obviously, sometimes he's had bigger parts to play than not. Him in this position makes me so damn happy. Kip Sabian is an absolute hero, he's an absolute warrior. I would say that he is a bright spark from British wrestling, because look, man, he's making a proper career in America with All Elite Wrestling, which is the greatest thing ever as far as I'm concerned. So that's super happy. Nick Wayne, obviously the prodigy. I think he calls himself that, right? Only 20 years old. But the story from this will be the reuniting, I'm just going to say it, of Edge and Christian. I think we're allowed to do that now, or maybe Cope and Chris. Oh no, they could call themselves Cope and Chris. Don't do that. I know you like doing this stuff, Adam Copeland. Do not do it. And listen, yes, it happened way too fast to me. Shout out to all the people that got in touch saying, well, Simon, even if they'd taken the time, it would have been rubbish. Where's your faith, man? Where is your faith? Of course AEW could have drawn this out and made it a much cooler thing. I'm not mad that it didn't happen. Just if you were going to sit down and have a conversation with me, I enjoy the smaller parts of wrestling, the little looks, the sort of subtle story beats that you could throw in. The planting of seeds. I've said that for the last 10 years. So I just thought we could have done more with this. At the same time, we have Edge and Christian back. I'm never going to be mad at that. They are one of the greatest tag teams ever, which makes no sense because they were together for about a day. When you go through their career, they broke up at such a sudden rate. That kind of underlines how good they were, right? They did change the game. The TLC matches, the Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boys, everything they did together is what we're seeing right now on television. And that's why I'm not going to get overly upset about it, because this match is going to rule. Once again, it makes no sense. It's not FTR. Like Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian kind of popped up. But I think I've kind of tied into why I'm so excited about it. Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne can't win. There is no point in reforming Edge and Christian after, 15 years, whatever it may be, and not giving them a victory, because once again, why is wrestling there? It's there for the fans. It's there to make the crowd happy. Nobody is paying their money to see these two guys lose. They want to see a 5-second pose. They may want to see a kazoo, but ultimately they want to see the spear. They want to see the kill switch. What did he used to call it? I can't remember now. How mad is that? I can't remember what he called it in WWE, because it's been called the kill switch for too long. That makes me an idiot. I mean, it must have been called the Unprettier, right? That's what Chelsea Green calls it. My brain is just caught up. I thought that's Chelsea Green's name. No, that's what he used to call it as well. Or she actually go, you know what? Let's stop talking about it. Edge and Christian are going to win. I think it's going to be wonderful. I actually think the genius of doing it in the O2 Arena, which obviously is an indoor building as opposed to Wembley, which is an outside venue, is going to be an amazing pop. And maybe they know this as well. And then their match with FTR should be in Canada as well. So that is an amazing back-to-back. Sometimes it's a bit like the John Cena heel turn. We can sit here for days and talk about the goods and the bads of the John Cena heel turn. I'm a huge fan of it just because I love the fact we got to see it, and it's kind of the same as this as well. Who thought in 2025 in a non-WWE promotion we would get Edge and Christian? I think that's something that we should celebrate, even if I personally would have preferred a little bit more depth to it. Who the hell cares? It doesn't matter. But Edge and Christian are absolutely going to win. Incredibly too, after Collision, we are getting Zack Sabre Jr. versus Nigel McGuinness for the IWGP Championship. If you had told anybody that 5 years ago, they would have punched you in the face. And listen, Nigel McGuinness cannot win. It's completely impossible. But it goes back to the Kip Sabian conversation. I would assume that Nigel is here. Same with Zack, really, because they're two UK dudes. It's almost drawing a line under this amazing comeback that Nigel McGuinness has had. He always deserved to perform on the biggest stage. And he had a great run in TNA, but of course that was never WWE. And while AEW isn't the size of WWE either, it's still 17,000 people in the O2 Arena, which is going to feel massive. And that is what WWE would be able to put in there as well. So it's incredibly exciting. But again, Zack Sabre Jr. is going to win, and I presume it's going to be him versus Takeshita at Wrestle Kingdom, with Takeshita winning, which would be absolutely massive, although you can have a hot argument about that too. It's just, for me, once again, this is why wrestling is so lovely. I'm sure there was a period a few years ago when Nigel McGuinness never thought this was going to happen. It was completely off the table. It's now back on the table. You saw the pop he got when he came back in the Casino Gauntlet. This one is probably going to be twice as much. I love it. I think it's wonderful. Just let him do all his old spots. Let Zack Sabre Jr. kick out the Tower of London or whatever the flub you want to do. Maybe somehow he even have his old spiky haircut back. I mean, it's not, I guess you could do it in many ways. Again, it's I don't want to say nostalgia, because that almost sort of dates Nigel, which is not what I mean. But it's there to make you feel warm and fuzzy in your tum-tum. And it's there to tie into the whole Forbidden Door thing. I saw that criticism as well. Oh, there's not enough New Japan versus AEW talents. I disagree. I think you can have the card and make sure you have some serious AEW versus AEW action, but then throw some New Japan guys in there as well. And we're just living in a new world now anyway. Like, everybody has a forbidden door, and that is always going to water it down. So I actually think the way we structured this is smart. Got a proper big sort of couple of world title matches on there as well. Zack Sabre will win. They'll embrace afterwards. They'll shake hands, and it will be lovely. And probably lots of tears will be shed, or water coming out of your seeing devices. We're also getting Kyle Fletcher versus Takahashi for the TNT Championship, which is a wild match. It's another one that I would argue, I would say if you want a criticism, if you want to get into the negative, the three matches we've talked about have zero jeopardy once again. There is no way that Kyle Fletcher is not going to win this match. One, he only just won that TNT title. Now is the time to push Kyle and turn him into a super duper whooper mega star, as opposed to take away from that. And again, Takahashi just, I don't mind the size difference. Like we did the Ishii match and Kyle Fletcher match, nobody cared about that. And I understand because Ishii kind of comes across as a tank, even though he is quite small, whereas Takahashi obviously has a different style. But this just goes back to what we said again, it's a forbidden door match. So you should throw some random crazy people in there. Who did people say they wanted instead? I can't even remember now, but I actually disagreed. I think, what's that name? That's not going to pop in my head, stupid brain. But I actually thought there's more opportunity to do that at a different time of the year, because AEW and New Japan are working together all the time anyway, whereas on this night, you can just do something like that, and it'll be completely unique. At the moment, we have 8 matches, maybe 9 as I look over my sheet there, and Dynamite obviously had more matches, Collision probably had even more matches. I assume there's a Collision this week, I do not know. But if you're going to have that many, the one thing that all pay-per-view cards that are going to run long has to have is a bit of variety and a bit of nuance and a bit of switching of gears. Given the 3 things we've talked about, I think this one is going to be totally nuts and just nothing else you've seen. Maybe they do work it more like a New Japan match because, of course, Kyle Fletcher knows how to do that. But yes, Kyle is going to win. It should probably be somewhat defiantly, I should say, because I don't think Takahashi is doing anything in New Japan at the moment of any real note. Kyle Fletcher can cheat as well. He's a massive heel. But I think whatever we do here, this has to be lean more onto the AEW side than it does the New Japan side, which I don't mean with any shade whatsoever. But let's use the rest of the year to turn Kyle Fletcher into a guy where he could be in a world title match and we're all looking around going, oh my gosh, he may win this, because he's just one of your dudes and you want to do that. I think it will be brilliant. I think it will get 5 stars from the usual 5-star merchants. I don't worry about stuff like that. But obviously, Kyle Fletcher is going to win. He cannot lose the TNT title now. It'd be flubbing ridiculous. Speaking of mid-card titles too, we also have our crazy 4-way for the TBS title, which is Mercedes Moné versus Alex Windsor versus Persephone from CMLL. And we don't know the 4th person at the moment. I presume from Stardom. Is that correct? Well, at least I don't know at the moment. I did look. I couldn't find a name. Once again, no jeopardy whatsoever. Mercedes Moné is not going to lose a title that she's held for 200 million days, or whatever it is. But once again, Alex Windsor being in there, she's going to get a massive pop. She's from the country. And it's cool there's so many UK people on this card. And don't forget as well that I think this is on the Dynamite that happens in a couple of days. We're getting Max Caster's Open Challenge. Maybe it's me. I put my name out there. I'll tell everybody right now. I'm happy to be on any AEW show as a wrestler. I'll be on AEW as a pre-show guy. I'll be on AEW as a guy that pops in the back. I'll do color commentary. I don't care. I just want opportunities, man. Now you're shouting at me that I'm biased. I mean, ignore the last 10 years. Don't worry about that. Just react to a comment I said on a video. But it is going to be great when all those people come out and get those hometown reactions. But yes, Mercedes is going to win. Although this is an awesome showcase match. Like, again, the CMLL and Stardom talent sort of can wave the flag for their promotions. And CMLL is doing great at the moment. Like, it really, really is. It's sort of really gaining fire, which is totally crazy, all things considered. But I just can't see anything but Mercedes Moné win. She probably won't pin Alex Windsor, and then maybe all out, you do Mercedes Moné versus Alex Windsor in a singles match, which you haven't done either, I do not think. And Mercedes does need a proper feud. I think that's correct. I mean, she's involved with the Tony Storm Athena stuff, but obviously they're spinning off into their own thing that we'll talk about in just one second. So I think this will be a showcase. I think everybody will enjoy it. I think Mercedes Moné will win. She can cheat as well, but let's not try and go too over the ways with that, because wrestling in 2025 is totally obsessed. But in terms of a match on a card, you throw out an amazing 4-way, I think we're all going to have a good time. But I will bet my hair that Mercedes is still the champion, then Alex Windsor can challenge her in Canada. And we mentioned it, we'll talk about it now anyway. Why the hell not? It is Toni Storm versus Athena for the AEW World Championship. Now, this is going to be brilliant. This is going to be so damn good. And while I can't see Toni Storm losing, although actually, why I say that, why can't she lose now? I think she probably could lose. She's held that championship for ages. There's no reason why she can't be defeated, especially if Billy Starks is going to be out there, although Mina Shirakawa's now back, so she could be in Toni Storm's corner too. I don't think it is going to happen, but I don't think we live in a world now where she can't lose. She beat Mercedes Mercedes Moné on the grandest of all stages. So if you want to keep elevating the feuds and you want to keep the world title feeling strong, Athena winning not only establishes her in that kind of position, but then you can go back to the Tony stuff, you can go back to the Mercedes stuff, and you can throw other people in there as well. Ultimately, though, because she hasn't lost her Ring of Honor Women's Championship yet, which I think she's held for 1,000 days or coming up to it, which is amazing, and much as because she's brilliant, I think Toni Storm will win here. And also, again, think about the fans. What do they want? What do you want to give them? I mean, they would pop for a title change for sure, but I think everyone's going to be in Toni Storm's corner. Though maybe they wouldn't, because sometimes UK fans are totally crazy. But I will go with Toni Storm. The good news is she's held that long enough, and she's so established she can lose it at any time, as long as the build is right. And this does work, because of course Athena cashed in her magical contract, which I like, because MJF did that too. No random cash-ins this year. They just said, I'm the man, I'm going to do it. Well, Maxwell got goaded into it, but it was still a great storyline. But yes, I do think Toni Storm will get the victory. And probably, now I think about it, Billie Starkz should be there. And we've seen in the past that Billie Starkz has been so overeager to help her boss, she's totally screwed up. I can't call her boss because of Mercedes. To help her teacher, I suppose that works. We'll go with that. That's what I think will happen. And listen, Athena's beaten her up a few times. They've had matches. They've always got back on the same page. So I think you can utilize that here. And that's the benefit of sort of trying stuff out in Ring of Honor and then doing it on AEW. Don't mean in a horrible way, but AEW just being a Ring of Honor from a statistic point, if nothing else. So I would do that. Toni Storm can take advantage, say something funny, everything will be okay. Who the hell does Toni Storm feud after this with? I presume we go back to the Mercedes stuff eventually. That's why I'm not totally against Athena winning. So I could be wrong. I'm going with Big Tone. We're also getting the Hurt Syndicate versus either FTR or, I always get this wrong, Bro Dido. Is that right? Bro Dido, because Brody King Bandido? I said Bandrodo the other day. I was like, that's not right. Maybe you could call them Brandodo. I think that's correct. Now I'm second guessing myself, even though I read this all of 10 minutes ago. My brain is clearly tired today. That's true. I've been up for a long time. I do need to go to sleep. I think ultimately, because FTR and the Hurt Syndicate has apparently been talked about numerous times backstage, the FTR are going to win, because I think at this show, when it is Hurt Syndicate versus FTR, I think FTR are going to win the championships. That's what I'm suggesting here. I also think this is not going to be clean. Somebody is going to be involved. It could be an MJF trying to get revenge on the Hurt Syndicate, although I still don't know what's going on here. If we have separated them because of some unknown issue, maybe we don't want to go back to that at all. But my thinking to this is Edge and Christian versus FTR in Canada at All Out for the tag team titles. It ties into the Adam Cole FTR story, also ties into the Christian stuff and what we did at All In. And of course, the championships don't need to be on the line. But if you did do that, it's just going to heighten it even more. And if FTR lose here, or lose to Brodido, then it's just going to have lesser impact too. If you want to take that match and sell it as a dream match and just build and build and build and build, you want FTR to be on a bit of a winning streak. They won the tournament, they won here. And ultimately, Edge and Christian could probably win that match as well. We'll talk about that nearer the time. September 20th, I believe. I'm doing a mini Canadian tour there too. I'm working for Smash Wrestling and C4 Wrestling and Mystery Wrestling. And I'm going to be at All Out as well. So make sure you come and say hello if you are around. But yeah, the Hurt Syndicate will lose here. Man, that's quite a big predictional things considered, but there is going to be shenanigans, there is going to be distractions, interference, and confusion. But I think it's the right time. What we do with the Hurt Syndicate, I don't know. But I also think if MJF is going to win the World Championship eventually, which he will do, you have to do Bobby Lashley versus MJF. I think we planted the seeds for that as well. So FTR win the tournament. FTR win here to become the champions, which I have no problem with. One of the best tag teams, not only now, but ever. Cash and Dax are so damn good. And then, yeah, you've got a good month build for the Edge and Christian thing, which would be absolutely incredible. And it allows the Hurt Syndicate to go off in a different direction too. I mean, who else can the Hurt Syndicate work with? They've quite literally beat every single tag team, apart from a couple of them. Pick an FTR. Okada versus Swerve Strickland for whatever we're calling that belt now. The unified title is also going down here. I kind of feel like Swerve has to win, right? Am I changing any titles on this show as I look back over my things? Well, the tag titles, yes, so we just talked about that. I just think, I mean, Kenny Omega is in the main event, I presume, because the Lights Out match usually goes on last. And Swerve Strickland, I mean, he did win it All In. I mean, but the thing is, Swerve Strickland is a massive deal. Okada's held that belt, I now think, for longer than anyone has ever held an AEW championship. Is that correct? Do not know. I mean, the Continental side of it anyway. I just think it's this goes back to the, if Athena is not going to beat Toni Storm because Toni Storm's been the champion so long, I think you can do it here instead. Okada has held that belt for so long, you can have Swerve Strickland win it. And I actually think it doesn't really prolong the feud because it's the babyface winning. If you don't do it now, you want to do it at All Out. So you know what? I'll go with that instead. So Okada will win here by mega cheating, and then you do the the stipulation match at All Out. Just rematch it. Why the flub not? And let's get that belt on Swerve Strickland. I just think it makes all the sense in the world. It explains why he's not going after the World Championship. And I understand he's got the now love for Hangman, but you could still say, why wouldn't he go after it? It's just a good way to keep him out of that world title picture, but of course, he's going to need to go back into it. So I've completely changed my mind, which I usually regret. Okada will win here, probably because of the Don Callis family, and then Swerve Strickland is a maniac. He'll come up with some kind of stipulation, and he'll win there, and he'll be the champion All Out. There's nothing wrong with that. We do need to change titles every now and then. I think it does all the world of good for the Unified Championship, which is kind of a brand new belt. And Swerve probably needs a championship, right? It's been ages since he was the world champion, over a year now. Don't think he won any other belts in the meantime. He's not gone into a tag team apart from Will Ospreay, but they never won the titles. So yeah, I don't mind justifying it, getting to the 1-2 punch. And AEW sometimes doesn't do that. It's nice to have a back-to-back feud. Okada wins here, Swerve wins an All Out, and we have ourselves a brand new Continental Flippy Doodah Whooper champion. We're also getting MJF versus Hangman Adam Page for the World Championship, and the reason I love this is because I don't know. Doesn't really help for a prediction show, but it kind of feels like Hangman can't lose because he won it all in. But MJF is such an interesting character, and MJF always does such a good job, I can genuinely see him pulling off some kind of ruse, even with the Hurt Syndicate, which was my mad speculation I made when all this did go down. It was all a trick, and they're going to walk out during this match, and they're going to screw over Hangman Adam Page, allowing MJF to become the champion. Now, that obviously feels like a bit of a stretch, and if you buy into the speculation from backstage, it's most definitely done, but you would say that if you were going to do something like this. I think, gun to my head, ironically, Hangman Adam Page would be my choice because you really don't want to disappoint the fans in the UK. But again, they're not the main event. The cage match is the main event because it's a lights out match. Maybe that's why they did it, because they thought, oh man, everyone's going to be so mad that MJF won that championship. We can't go home on that note, so we should give them something else. I am really 50-50 on this. And I think Hangman Page is such a good babyface, and he's so over with the crowd, he can be Stone Cold Steve Austin circa 1998. Now, he would have held this way shorter than Austin did, but he can lose that title. Don't forget, when Austin won his first championship, he held it for April, May, June. 3 months, right? When he lost it to Kane at King of the Ring, and then obviously won it back in 24 hours' time. We've been only like a month removed-ish from All In. So you would be doing something big here, and Hangman getting it back may be harder because MJF would surround himself with goons. I think Hangman and Page will win, but I do not think this is the dead cert, and I think it's why they are two of the best characters in AEW, because they can make you feel this way. They can make you second-guess yourself and try and figure out what's going to happen. Be like, oh, I do not know. So bravo to those two guys. I go with the Cowboy just because he is the baby face, although again, why would you stick that cage match there? Unless the bad guys are going to win that one too, but I don't think they will. Do you know what? I'm sticking with Hangman. I think MJF is the winner, though. I think I am being a wuss. Usually we do bold predictions on this show, and I am going the other way, which kind of makes me feel like I should stop being a hypocrite and go back. No. I'll stick with Page. But I think when we do our review at the start of next week, I maybe go, well, what do you know? MJF is the flipping world champion. That one you got to let me know in the comments. And we finish with the Golden Lovers, Will Ospreay, Darby Allin, and Tanahashi, which is the strangest team ever, versus the Death Riders and the Young Bucks in an all-out and a lights-out steel cage match. I mean, I understand this is totally random. I understand that Will Ospreay just turned up like he wanted a cup of tea and accidentally booked himself in the most insane bout ever. But again, if you're going to a UK show and you want to feel sort of some of the madness that AEW can bring, this is the kind of thing that you want. I'm intrigued to see it. I mean, it sounds very much like the cage idea that New Japan did, right? Because it's 10 people in one cage. So it has to be more of a Hell in a Cell, right? Where it comes out over the ropes and onto the floor. But does it? We don't know. I don't think AEW's ever done this thing before. But I would presume that Will Ospreay was in that first cage match that New Japan did. So there must be some tie over here. It's going to be totally nuts. And it's going to be totally wild. And as a show closer, I think it's going to be pretty damn good. And we're probably going to be talking about it for a long ass time. Now, Gabe Kidd is in this as well. Of course, he's from the UK, so he's going to get a mega pop, even though he's a bad guy. Maybe people just boo him because they dislike him so much. I mean, it all ties into what happens to Hangman Adam Page and MJF. If MJF wins, you have to have the good guys go over here. I think the good guys are going to win anyway, only because I think in order to... But then again, you've got the Darby Allin, John Moxley stuff that is going to happen All Out. How do you set that up the best? Because you can argue this both ways, but I think that's the crutch, the centerpiece here. If Darby Allin's team can somehow beat John Moxley's team, but John Moxley doesn't get pinned, he can have a meltdown, right? And so that's it, Darby, I want to finish this for good. But at the same time, you want the heel to beat the good guy, because that way he can come back and win. We talked about it with Swerve and Okada. Sometimes you need to plant the seeds. Although AEW doesn't always stick to those kind of tropes. Sometimes they do their own thing. I just think, first event in the O2, 17,000 strong. It's much like when Daniel Bryan won, or we had the MJF Adam Cole hugging, etc. in Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, when we did the All-Ins. Or even Hangman Adam Page in Texas. I just think when you have a one-off unique event that people are going to be wild for, it does have some sort of originality to it. Why stand on ceremony, Mr. Wayne? Just give people what they want. And you can easily set up other things on television. Like, we got a good few Dynamites and collisions before we get to All Out. So yeah, let's keep it simple. Let's keep it 2 + 2 = 4. No plus 2 + 2 = potato. The good guys win. You can see, obviously, Omega and Ibushi doing their thing together in the UK, which even in 2025 is totally crazy. And the Young Bucks will come out to sort of some dumb moves as well. And also, it's probably going to be Tanahashi's last ever match in the United Kingdom. I don't want to see him lose that, right, during his retirement year. I just want all the good stuff and all the love to come down on that guy. So I go with the good guy team, but yes, it's probably setting up. Well, now I've just thought as well, it's going to set up the Golden Lovers versus the Young Bucks probably All Out. And obviously it's going to set up Darby Allin versus John Moxley All Out as well. So there is purpose to this, and there are probably some other offshoot matches that I'm not even thinking about too. Maybe even Gabe Kidd against, who's in there? Well, not Darby Allin because he's taken. That doesn't. Will Ospreay versus, you don't really want to go back to that. I think Will Ospreay may take some time off after this, and I hope he does. And I hope he's massively okay. But Will Ospreay's team will win. Will Ospreay should probably get the pin as well. He's going to get the biggest pop of the night, right? He's not only is one of the main stars of AEW, he's Mr. UK, and it'll be wonderful. He's got Brav on t-shirts. I'm very looking forward to this. I think it'll be great. Good guys win. There'll be more matches announced. Again, maybe we can answer them in the comments as and when they do come. But when you are down there, let me know what your predictions are. Let's see if you're smarter than me, and you most definitely are, but let's prove it in words. Otherwise, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the notification bell. Click the video on the screen for yet more thoughts on wrestling from me. Why wouldn't you want that? Otherwise, my new fitness channel is here, Simon Miller Fitness. There'll be a link down there as well. It's all down there. Grillermind.com/Simon. Simon get 10% off. Watchalongs, patreon.com/Simon316. Come watch wrestling with me. That's always fun. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Actually, it is good. I really enjoyed it. I think it's awesome. Simon316 on social media. Simon Miller on Cameo. Simon J. Miller on TikTok and Pro Wrestling Tees and Big Cartel for merchandise. Enjoy the week. It's going to be a mad one. It always is. And I'll see you soon.